Remember when we forgot? Remember when we first really talked? When we bared our souls just a bit, and in a moment of weakness and strength and uncertainty, you lowered your mask, and I did too. I saw a friend and a kindred spirit and an ally, and you did too. When we realized we were both prisoners in our own minds, stuck in the confines of our own thoughts, we were circling and reaching and waiting. We drew comfort from the fact that when we stretched our fingers through the bars, we could touch, fingertip to fingertip. Remember when I started to understand that depression isn't a feeling, but a state of being, that it couldn't be healed by a reassurance, even though I tried words and hugs and sad smiles. Remember when we realized it was contagious, that from the mere touch of our fingertips the disease could spread, and it did. Remember when we got greedy, when the touch of our fingertips was no longer enough, when our hearts and souls and minds needed more, when I tried to break through the bars of my cell and only ended up with bloody knuckles, when I realized how weak I really was, and you did too. We were in our own personal hell, seeing no one, until one day we glimpsed each other from across the flames. Remember how our eyes met? Mine deep brown, yours pale hazel, and with that our intent locked. But to no avail. We found out the hard way that feeling invincible doesn't make it true. Remember when we broke through the bars, when we finally succeeded in pulling our whole world down around us, sky bending and earth shattering and mind blowing. When we had no one to blame but each other, so we did, because pride stopped us from blaming ourselves. Remember how once we had gotten the taste for blood, we couldn't stop? When we stood amidst the rubble of our jail, our home, and shouted and fought and tore each other apart. When we screamed, you ruined the world, because the unknown was more terrifying than our prisons. Remember when I delivered the killing blow? You said I made everyone sad. I meant you made me sad. But you are everyone. 4 words that were the end of a fight, and then the end of a friendship. Because without the fight or the walls keeping us in, we had no reason to be together anymore, because we were different. We had changed. Remember when we realized we were only weighing each other down? How we looked up at the stars for the first time and fell in love with the world? But we had to look away from the sun, because even in spite of its beauty, it was blinding. It made the dark darker. It turned life to liquid. It made depression unbearable. The days melted into one another. Remember when we stopped talking? When the silence was deafening and the loneliness was crushing and the words turned to blood? Remember when we moved on? When the garbage filled up with memories and tissues and razor blades? We were so angry and sad and terrified at the thought of being alone again, but we were enchanted. Taken by the winds and called by the seas and saved by the trees, we were free. Remember when we forgot? Because that was our destiny. You were an asymptote, a line I could get infinitely close to, but never quite become one with. Remember when we forgot? But we didn't really forget, did we? Because when someone says my name softly, I see you. When I smell that cologne, or any cologne, I think of you. When I sleep, I wait for the jab in the stomach saying, wake up, I don't want to be alone. When I get a message, my heart thumps because it remembers you. You are in the face of everyone I meet, both as a warning and as a promise.